welcome back to another video. What is going on, guys? It is a beautiful day. Where are we? What are we doing? Well, as you guys know, we kind of run around at a frantic pace all fishing season, filming tons of content across the Midwest. This late August, early September timeframe is about the time you start, the body and mind start feeling the miles of all the travel and work. But today, we're taking it a little bit slower, enjoying it a little bit more. Where are we? What are we doing? We're at Everett Bay Lodge. I'll link it down below, up here on the beautiful Lake Vermillion. Probably one of the most scenic lakes in all of Minnesota. Gorgeous lake, big expansive body of water, millions of islands. It doesn't have that huge lake feel because there's so many islands and points and humps, but you can just drive for miles of endless fishing water, which is kind of the cool part about up here. But what are we doing today? Well, as you can see, woke up right on the lake in our beautiful rustic cabin up here. And we hope to go out, catch some walleyes, do a little fish fry, take it easy, show a technique that catches walleyes anywhere you're gonna go, and just have fun today. So that's the plan. Stay tuned. Beautiful day. Warrior's already in the water at our dock right here. Let's make it happen. Beautiful morning. It's just a little touch of fall in the air, which gets me excited. Summer's kind of a long period of very similar fishing, but once fall gets here, it all kind of changes. But couldn't ask for a better backdrop to film a walleye fishing video. The beautiful Lake Vermilion. So let's get rigged up. I have very little experience here. Let's get rigged up, catch some fish. What are we gonna do? Kind of want to take it simpler today. I've been up here. This is actually my second day out here now. And I've caught fish doing nearly everything. Haven't had a ton of time to pick a bunch of stuff up. We could sharpshoot. We could cast jigs way up shallow and catch some walleyes. But kind of one of the simplest ways to fish a lot of these shield lakes like this, which is what Lake Vermilion is basically bottom bouncing. Now, didn't even think about that before I left home for this trip. So we got a little bit of a makeshift contraption here. 3-way swivel, 2-ounce weight. I like keeping it super heavy so that I can just track it super tight to me like you guys are gonna see. On the other end of that, I just tied up a basic spinner rig with about a 6-foot lead, just like that. You really can't fish a more simple way. Now, all we're gonna do now is put a crawler on this. And essentially what we're gonna do is there's so much rock on these like shield type lakes like Vermilion. You're gonna see rock, big rock, chunk rock, bedrocky looking rock, big boulders, a lot of places you're gonna go. And a lot of times what the fish like doing in the summer is relating to the edge of all that where it kind of turns to mud. And we kind of got like a 25, 28 foot edge on a lot of this big rock that turns to mud. So essentially what we're gonna do is a lot of these summertime walleyes get out here in this basin. And what I'm gonna do is just trace that edge with this setup. The nice part is with this real heavy 3-way rig, I can almost keep it vertical. So it's as I'm twisting and turning in and out, it's not gonna be way back there lagging in the rock like this. It's gonna be very vertical. And when I weasel my way in and around stuff, that thing's just gonna stay right here for me. So that's kind of the plan. We're on the hunt for fish fry fish, baby. I mean, that is the goal of today. If we don't produce a fish fry today, we failed. Put me around some fish boat. Here's one. Fish on. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. I think we got our first walleye on of the day. Be eater sized. Be eater sized. We'll see. Little guy. 13-inch walleye to start. But it is our first fish. And there's tons of fish. Whoa, whoa, whoa. In this smaller size on Vermilion. You could keep these. These are like those perfect little 13-inch keepers, but we're going to hold out for those little bit bigger ones. But it is, in fact, our first walleye. And we're just kind of skirting along the edge of some rocks and some sand. And we're kind of hoping to get somewhere. Obviously, you cover enough water fishing this way, it's really easy to like snake around all this structure. We're kind of hoping we obviously get in an area where we're like, oh yeah, this is where we want to do a bunch of passes in a row here. But there is our first one. There's nothing really to this technique. Obviously, with this big heavy weight, I drop it down till it hits, close the bail, then I sit here just like this. And you can see that line's at a real steep angle, which lets me just kind of snake this rock structure real tight and precise. And all I do is just make sure that little weight's hitting bottom, and then I control my trolling motor with this. And if you kind of look at the graph here, this is something similar we'll be looking to all day, how I got all my rock off my left here. Can you see that, Mitchell, or is the glare bad? I got all my rock off the left here, then I got mud and sand off the right. And you can see I'm just snaking the edge of this right here. And this is kind of the screen I like to run to be able to see all this at the same time. Structure, basin, fish on the interchange. That's a good bite. Fish on. Right there, Mitchell. Right there. Slowly putting some stuff together. What do we got here? Give me that nice eater walleye. That's what we're after. Just skirting around some of these transitions. Come here, buddy. Where you at? Where you at? 15-inch walleye, Mitchell. Flip them on in, boys.
There you go. There's one.
There we go. That is what we're after. Spinner rig right in the corner of the mouth. Eater walleyes on deck, baby. And this is the goal for today. Fill the boat with some eater-sized walleyes so that we can go back and have a nice fish fry this evening. He's not big. We'll get bigger today. But if we can sack up 3 of those to keep, and then catch some extras, some extra actors, we'll be happy today. There we go. Number one decent one on the spinner rig. In the live well with them. It's not often I get to turn the live well pump on the Warrior.
Feels weird actually getting the
In fact, I don't even know what switch it is here. So it's stern live well, not recirculate, stern live well aerator. And we'll throw him in there. He's gonna be tasty. And the nice part on Vermilion is a lot of these keeper sized fish, they clearly have no shortage of these like 15, 16-inch fish from my experience. And it's a very, I would say, liberal size range of fish in which you can keep kind of in that keeper sized range. I don't believe there's a minimum. Don't quote me on that, but that's kind of the size we're looking for. Tasty walleyes. Simplest style of fishing you can really do right here. Doesn't really get any easier than this. And obviously on this channel, we've filmed walleyes 100 different ways before. And there is something nice about just coming out, getting in the back of the boat, looking at side imaging, looking at sonar, and just dragging some meat around. Style of fishing that will literally work anywhere in which you're gonna try to catch a walleye right here. Fish on. Right there. It's got some nice head shakes to him. Come here, buddy. Decent one, Mitchell, huh? He's a good keeper size. That is what we're after right there. That does look a lot like dinner. Beautiful vermilion gold right there, my friends. Slowly putting it together. And for having almost no experience on this lake, this is definitely a way you can come out and fish here and just catch a whole bunch of them. And it's an effective way to just cover a lot of this structure too, where you don't have to like lock down, spend a long time fishing one specific area, figuring out if there's fish there or not. This way we're just kind of cruising through spot to spot to spot, covering all these transition areas and picking off fish as we go. Now obviously what generally happens on a day like this is you end up covering 5-6 spots, and then by the afternoon you're in one spot where you're like, all right, this is where we want to spend the rest of the day. But that one, Mitchell, he's a 16-incher, and he's going in the live well with us. Now we got 2 in there, 2 buddies in there. Back down we go. All right, so I just broke a hook off in the rock. So we'll rig up. But basically you could obviously fish this way with a bottom bouncer. You can kind of do whatever you want. I wasn't even planning on trolling this trip, and I just didn't even think about really packing a lot of stuff before I left. But this setup works really good. It's gonna work everywhere you go. Weight, I like to have about a foot, 16 inches. Now the one thing with a bottom bouncer is like, your bottom bouncer is only gonna keep your bait about that far off bottom, right? Because it's basically just the weight, and then you have that real short arm on it. So this actually keeps that hook a little bit more elevated and out of the rocks. Any weight's gonna work. This is just a 2 ounce around right now. Basically all you gotta do, I just carry around a box that looks like this, generally everywhere I go. Beads, some hooks, some blades, some clevises. Not a whole lot to it, but you don't have to carry the huge bundle of spinner rigs everywhere you go. And I certainly did not on this trip. Up to a 3-way swivel, which I got straight to braid to the end of my rod there. Tie one end of my fluoro lead. I like tying with, like, especially if you're gonna be trolling around all this rock like this, like a 15-pound fluoro leader. Cinch that up, and then you make a spinner rig, starting with the clevis. It's one of the most important things. We'll get that clevis, get the blade on there, just like that. This is a custom moonshine blade, Mitchell, that Tom gave me when we were at Lake of the Woods. Bright painted. Now, I'm not a spinner snob, so you guys are probably gonna say, like, this is a really bizarre assortment of beads on here. But throw like 3-4 beads in there, and really you can even do this without a spinner too, especially if you're in clear water. A lot of times just a slow death hook works really good on a rig like this. We'll thread 3-4 beads on there, and then I bring this down to this flipping hook. And this is a size 1, like we said. I'll get that on there. And I like these flipping hooks a lot for holding the crawler on. We'll twist that up real quick. Wet the knot. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, super simple here, obviously. Now I got about a 6 or 7 foot lead from the 3-way back to my spinner rig. And you can obviously imagine that all going down there. That weight just tickling, that spinner just spinning away on there back behind it. And it's a super simple way to basically, I mean, the nice part is obviously you can go fish any depth. If we want to fish a rock to sand transition in 5 feet of water, we can go do that. If we want to pull in 35 feet of water, you just let out more line. And as we shift around up and down the break line, let's say, it's real easy to kind of adjust as you go. And when you're fishing all this rock like this, generally what all you want to do, you can kind of see how that rig's all going to look there. Blade just spinning in the background. Pretty simple setup really overall. But basically, like when I'm letting this down, all I'm trying to do, get the boat moving, kind of the speed you want to go. We're going about 1.5 miles an hour. And all I'm going to do is just drop down real slow until I'm kind of tickling the bottom. So right about, and you'll feel that weight just thumping real good. So now that I'm down there in that zone, all I do is close the bail. And now all I'm trying to do is just barely touch that bottom. Just keep that thing just tickling down. Sometimes you have to let out a little bit more line. If you start bouncing too hard, just do a couple turns on the reel. But basically you just want to feel that thing just kind of bouncing. If you get a snag, you can just lift it up like that. Just kind of bouncing over those rocks, just like that. And you can see my line's like real close to the boat. I'm not way back there. It's kind of another part that's crucial to this whole thing. Obviously, when I get a bite, you'll kind of feel that rod just dunk, dunk, and then I'll just feed some line back to it and swing into the fish. So it's kind of a super simple way with very bare minimal components. You can come out to really any lake in walleye country and catch fish like this. Right there. Fish on. Fish on.
How's it feeling?
Either we're waking up a little bit, Mitchell, or we're getting around a few more.
Or both?
I think we got a decent walleye here. We need about one more good keeper to satisfy our hunger needs. Where you at, buddy?
Are you pretty excited to have a fish fry?
I am, dude. It's been a
I
long
am too.
time. Another nice 15-incher.
Good one.
There we go, my friends. Piecing it together. I've always enjoyed techniques, kind of going back and forth, techniques that are just basic, simple, fish catching styles of fishing. We spend a lot of time up on the bow doing the whole sharpshooting, big fish hunting thing. But anytime you can come to a relatively new location and just piece up some keepers, doing the old school deal is a win in my book. These are the last one. Now we got 3 15-inchers in the old live well, along with a bunch of empty water bottles from the trip, but still same pattern. It seems to just be a run in spots, and they seem to be getting a little bit more bitey as the morning goes on here. Fish on, Mitchell. We're just jumping around, moving and grooving spot to spot. Gotta really let them eat it though. You can kind of see, I mean, it probably shows on the camera where I can tell I got a bite and I'm slowly dropping my rod back. What you don't want to do when you're spinner rig fishing is just, boom, there's a bite, boom, set the hook. You're gonna miss a lot of fish doing it like that. Decent walleye here, nothing crazy. Another one of those 15ers. And this lake is chock full of them, like that. Kind of these keeper size, frying pan size fish. Get a decent little hold on them there. I'm having fun. This is a good day. It's getting beautiful out. It's warming up. We're catching fish, running around, fishing old school. I'm digging it. See you later, buddy. There he goes. We got our 3 to keep. No need to excessively keep, that's for sure. On. Right there. Just coming into another spot, and that one decided to bite. This time of year you can get fish out in the mud, you can get them on structure. Kind of the one thing about summer is that you can literally catch fish everywhere you're gonna be. And we are catching piles of eater-sized walleyes today. Ridiculous. I slimed you up though, cameraman. Back he goes. So basically all we're doing is super simple here, obviously. You guys know the presentation, but as far as structure goes, there's tons of these like big rock points, deep rock humps, deep rock to sand to mud transitions out here. And that's kind of what we're focusing on a lot. And some of these spots are just like huge bouldery complexes. Boulders are super tall. I don't like fishing those spots as much unless it's a lot of sand in between the boulders. But the fish always like to seem to sit really on a lot of the lakes like this, in my opinion, on some kind of like gravelly edge next to a lot of that big stuff, or where the big boulders meet the sand or things like that. So we'll kind of do a little screen recording here. And we're coming up on one area that you guys can see we've kind of like passed over a few different times now. And all we're using is side imaging, sonar, and GPS to run this spot. This spot's not really mapped even that well, but I can kind of follow this spot pretty good. Jeez, this is how it's been today. It's been absolutely ridiculous. And you can see some of these fish are obviously out in the mud, but some of them are gonna be up on structure too. We'll get this little guy off real quick here. He's just a little dinker. But we'll kind of show you on the side imaging here what we're kind of really looking for. So we're about to start coming into this. And what you're gonna start seeing is mainly that side imaging lighting up. It's gonna start getting a lot brighter on the side imaging. And that is obviously the piece of structure, the main piece of structure, the hump, the point, whatever you guys might be trying to fish. And you can actually see it just starting right now on sonar right here. So you can see this double line right here. Oh, right there. That's the start of this piece of structure. That bottom starting to turn a little bit harder. And you're just gonna see it get brighter and brighter. There's a little stack of bait fish off the edge right there. And in a second here, now you're gonna start seeing it on side imaging. That brighter returns coming across the top of the screen right now. That is this piece of structure. So generally what I like to do is try to stay a little bit off the edge of it. So we might have to go a little bit further this way, but this isn't looking too bad right here. So what you're gonna see here is obviously a lot of that real big bright stuff is off the left side right now. And I'm just kind of running this fringe edge of it on the right. And now you can see that I'm basically right over this transition right here. That whole piece of structure is off the left, and then all the mud is off my right. And that's where the basin meets the structure. So generally this is kind of how I try to run through the spot. I try to keep a lot of that big bouldery stuff off my left, and a lot of times those fish are gonna relate right to this transition. So obviously the transition's right here. So now I'm getting a little bit too far into it, and I know I gotta kind of turn back out. If you get too much on top of this, you just end up in a lot of this big rock. So what I try to do is just kind of float down this seam here where the mud meets the rock. And this is kind of where we're seeing all of our fish today. So it's one simple way that you can just, even without a map, I mean, you turn the map off and it's really easy just to follow this thing and just with side imaging, right? So obviously here we're falling off the tail, big chunk rock over there, mud bottom right here. And I'm just gonna keep following that edge down these big pieces of structure. And this is where we're seeing all these fish relating to. Mitchell. On.
I was rolling live on you.
Kind of knew we were gonna get one there. That little corner of that thing's been hot all day. It's feeling all right. It's feeling eater sized. Well, we have haphazardly put it together today pretty efficiently. You guys aren't gonna see all the fish because we did catch just a pile of shorter ones. This one's feeling like another one of those 15ers. Oh yeah, look at him.
There you go.
Laker Vermillion gold, baby. He's another one. We already got his buddies in the live well about that size. Beauties, man. On the spinner. I mean, it's like the simplest way possible you can come out and fish anywhere you're gonna go. Just running down break lines, catching piles of these guys. Do we need one more to eat, or are we good?
Might as well.
All right, there we go. Beauty, man. All right, let's just let him go. 3 is plenty of fish for me. Well, we're back at Everett Lodge. Midday. We're here for the fish fry. So let's get our little bounty out of the live well, fillet them up, and just enjoy a beautiful afternoon. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's the end of summer. Feels good. Does it feel good, Mitchell, just to do a little bit of a slow down? We're not gonna do this crazy high pace, boom, 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 boom. Does it feel good just to take the slower route, catch a pile of fish,
No,
and do
I'm
a fish fry?
a high pace guy.
High pace guy, yeah, he is. High pace guy after 9 a.m. from the hours of 9 to noon, maybe. All right, let's get our fish out. The other cool part about Everett Bay Lodge is if you're gonna come up here, you don't want to deal with the hassle of bringing your boat. They do have some pretty equipped rental boats as well for someone who maybe has a smaller boat, doesn't want to bring a boat, whatever it may be. But you don't even have to trailer your boat up here to catch fish. Little known fact. Your iPilot lanyard doubles as a walleye stringer. if you never have a stringer. Does anybody carry stringers anymore?
I was just gonna ask you, when is the last time you put fish on the string?
Oh man, I found one floating with a fish on it the other week.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, dead fish.
Oh, wow.
So someone tried to keep one.
I used to use one as a kid on the river, but
There you go. Let's clean some fish, Mitchell. Let's do it. There it is. I'm excited. It's been a while since I've had a walleye fish fry, but when you're at Lake Vermillion, when you're staying at Everett's Resort, I think this is what you do. You take it easy.
perfect.
It's always this point where I eat a walleye again, when I remember like, oh yeah, this is why people keep them all. But it's good, Mitchell. A little Cajun fish seasoning.
Yeah, I'm excited to
Well,
eat
we
it.
got a little feast here, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves staring out at the beautiful Lake Vermilion. And kind of a perfect day, I'd say, huh?
Yeah, it's like very fall feeling right now in the
Beautiful
air.
backdrop, taking it easy, catching walleyes, eating walleyes. Life is good. Legitimately forgot how good a fish fry was. But if you guys want a trip like this, obviously this has been a lot of fun. I've been up here for 2 days now, and it's kind of been status quo. Chill fishing, go out, catch a bunch of fish. And if you guys want to do a trip like this, I highly recommend it before the summer's over, or even this fall. But Everett's Resort, right here, Lake Vermilion. Phenomenal destination. Kind of cool, rustic, old cabins, right on the lake. Warrior stays in the water, plugged in. Little bait shop, little bait house, fish cleaning station. Super friendly owners. I've been talking with Daryl a whole bunch this week. He's even been circling up, kind of telling me places to go look for some fish. But highly recommend, and I'll link all the information down below. I'm in heaven, Mitchell. I've caught fish today. It's clearly turning into fall slowly outside, and my belly is full. Any complaints with today?
No, pretty hard to beat.
It feels incredibly good. We spend so much time rush, 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 go, go, go. This was a welcomed couple days. And if you guys are looking for something like this, make sure you guys check out Everett Bay Lodge. They were kind enough to bring us up here, let us stay in one of the cabins, catch some fish, eat some fish, the whole thing. Kind of experience a little bit about what makes this place in Lake Vermilion special. So if this is on your, should be on your guys' agenda. If it's not, it should be. And I'll link everything down below. But make sure you guys check out Everett Bay Lodge, because they were so kind to us. And I don't really know what to say. Fun day, caught a bunch of fish. Fun last couple days for me. No idea where we're gonna be next, but we're back off to the races to finish the season strong in fall. So I appreciate you guys watching this one, and thank you guys for riding along, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys next time.